Alright guys, so what's been going on with this guy, eh? Unfortunately, got some bad news. Not terrible news, but you know, not good news. I'll bet a bunch of you thought I wiped out my account, or I mean, I might as well have wiped out the account. So, I took some pretty big losses the past 2 days. I don't know. It was hard to make. It's hard to even kind of talk about it. I don't know. It's like it just feels so bad. So let me just show you what happened here. So yeah, yesterday we took a little bit of a tumble here. Lost a little bit of money, just a little bit. And then today we're down again. So let's just show you the account window for today. 1896. Today these have not been good days. I've had a lot of time to reflect, and really figure out what is happening, because this is not good, obviously. Like, I don't know, I didn't even want to make this video. I was like, oh, screw the YouTube channel, screw all this, but you know, it's not always about like what goes wrong. You know, it's not always like you're gonna take losses in trading. They shouldn't be this big, but I'm gonna stop looking at that. So you're gonna take losses, but they shouldn't be that big. And if you're gonna proceed as a trader, if this is gonna be your career, your profession, if you're gonna have this be sustainable for like the rest of your life, and you know, you want to progress, you really have to own what you do wrong, right? You have to not only own it, but you have to figure out where you went wrong and really, really work on it. So we can see here in the past, we know that this is a struggle of mine. Like, I have big red days when I have them. So what happens is that they usually start off fine. Like, I'm almost positive both of these days. Yeah, both of these days started out green. And then once I'm like 600 in the green, let's say, I'll make a stupid trade, bring it down to 400 or 500 or something, and then I'll start to overtrade. Now, I just have such a big problem. Let me move this over here. I have such a big problem with my emotional regulation. I don't know if that's because that's me as a person, or me as like I don't know, but something I realized I have to work on now that I've kind of calmed down from yesterday. Yesterday was the not so fun. Well, yeah, today wasn't fun either, but like I've been through a lot mentally and emotionally the past 2 days, and I don't think anymore that I have to fix my reaction to what happened on these days, because that's normal. I think I'm upset mostly because I allowed myself to do this. So let's take last month, for example. I kept the red days small, right? Like, I had 170 profit, and then I ended up 170 in the red. Not, you know, I had 300 profit and ended up losing 2 grand. So these days, I wasn't unhappy with myself. These are acceptable red days. And while they could have been green, and 4 red days in a row is not good, they're better than this. So there goes. I don't want to do the math, but like, I think all of this is gone. Something like that. And let's sure, you know, I'm up on the month still, unless I do this again tomorrow. And I'm making more money than I did last month. But it's just, it's hard for me to really wrap my head around. Like I said, hold on, it's getting really dark for some reason. Turn that up. There you go. It's just, anyways, okay, so I've been thinking, obviously I'm quite the emotional trader, so I need to have like a stop on the day, so a stop loss. So if I hit a maximum of X amount of dollars or something, I need to just stop. Whether that's physically removing myself from the computer, just shutting down the program and going outside, I need to do something like that. And even better, let me just show you some of the trades here. So So, you know, like, for those of you that have been watching my videos, you know that I'm pretty good at making the money. Like, I'm really quick. I can read the level 2 and the price action really quickly. But my problem is when my emotions start to get the best of me. So, here we are in this trade right here. First 1 minute candle to make a new high on LEDS. Again, I'm just in with too much size. My max position size is 1,000 shares. Like, I'm focusing way too much on the numbers, and discipline is starting to slip. Well, it already did slip. It's long slip. So, you know, I'm reading that it's getting really heavy right here, and I try and sell out of a lot of my shares. I eventually get the fill here, somewhere. I get the fills here at 86 and 82. And the high was 90. And I read that, all from the level 2. And the price action, you know, the dropping volume, I read that. So I think that in itself, hold on, it's kind of, that's way too bright. It's so hard to get perfect. Okay, that'll have to do. So it's, I'm proud of myself for doing that, but then, you know, I start to take some losses here. I'm in a trade I shouldn't be in on UAVs. You know, it's already made its first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Its daily sucks. There's no increasing volume on this 1 minute candle. I just shouldn't have been in this. And then I turn a $50 loss into a multi-$100 loss because I shouldn't be in stuff that I'm not, or I shouldn't be in these names. And then, you know, I see that, and then I go, oh, okay, now I'm only up 300 instead of 600 on the day, and the emotions kick in. So, oh, like, I screwed it up, I have to get it back. So, what I do, unfortunately, is I'll double or triple or quadruple my risk and try and get a smaller winner to make up for that. And in my brain, in my head, it sounds like a great idea, but obviously on paper, you know, you take the loss. Then all of a sudden, a $200 or $300 losing day turns into $1,100, $1,200, and when I'm only averaging $300 or $400 a day, that is just not acceptable. I can't do that. I can't do that. I gotta just hammer that home in my head. So, for example, I took this check trade. I thought it was going to break the highs. I jumped in over $19. There's no setup here. There's no 5 minute candle that's making a new high. It already made its high and I missed it. That would have been a good trade. As it regained the VWAP here, increasing volume, and then it breaks the 5 minute candle. That would have been a great trade. But I missed it. And I had this FOMO or whatever it is, so I get in at the next best spot in my head at least, which is $19. In reality, it's a terrible spot, and I shouldn't have been in there. I never would have been in there normally. I give it some time to work out. I think, okay, it might bounce off these moving averages here, but you know, it doesn't. The ass falls out of it, and I don't get my sell. So now I'm down $500, $400. Like, it's not... I overtrade, I revenge trade, and right now, it is the thing that is keeping me from flourishing or whatever as a trader. So, I know I've rambled a lot already, but I have to figure this out. Like, it's depressing, it's pathetic to look at this, like... I know this happens to, you know, 90 or 95% of traders, right? Like, this is exactly why most traders are not profitable, because they don't take the time, like, they can't survive long enough to figure out how to stop doing this. So, yeah, I'm up on the month, and you can say, oh, like, that's great, but it's the mentality behind these red days that will lead me to wipe out my account or keep taking large losses if I don't fix this. So this was discipline. This was all discipline. 5, 10, 15 days, and then all of a sudden it's almost all gone in, you know, collectively, like, 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour of trading, right? So, unfortunately, that is the recap for today. Today sucks. I don't take individual losses that are huge. Like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. This is my P&L for today. MTSL. I was green MTSL about 400 US before this all happened. And then each of these trades are small losses with too much size. So Dare, right out of the gates, I had 3,500 shares. And yes, I took a tiny loss, very, very tiny loss of 1 cent. But I can't be exposing myself to almost 4 times the amount of risk that I usually do. 1,000 shares, right? So, and then I tried to catch the falling knife. Bought another 3,600 shares. Took a much bigger loss on it, and now all of a sudden I'm down 200 or 300. So I need to figure this out if I'm gonna proceed and progress as a trader. So whether that's through personality changes or simply just focusing on trading, I really need to work this out. So I wish I had more words of wisdom. I got way too focused on the numbers, the money, right? Like, I saw this and I was like, holy shit, like $1,900 in a day if I did that every single day, and I'm calculating like 1,900 times 252 trading days. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make a $500,000. Like, I got too obsessed with the numbers, so my discipline slipped. And then, you know, if you don't check yourself, the market will put you back in your place. And that's what happened. So I wish I could finish this off on a better note, but it's really not a good note. But at the same time, I'm encouraged. I took my my time to mope, my time to be all sad and pissed off about it, but you know, I'm owning it, and I'm gonna fix it. So these days before used to completely wipe out like months of Jesus Christ. I just spilled. Okay, it's fine. They used to wipe out months and months of, like, I would make $300 and then lose $1,000. $300, lose $1,000. So I guess it's good that I'm still green, but yeah, I've said this a million times, so I'm gonna stop. I hope you guys have traded a little bit better. I'm gonna try and be as transparent as possible. So my plan going forward, let's move on to that. So my plan moving forward is to obviously move down in share size. If I ever have one of these days again, which I'm sure I will at some point, I'm going to take either the next day off today, because I was still feeling it today, up until this afternoon, or use like 200 shares, 300 shares. But I think it would just be better to take a day or two off. You know, the market's not going anywhere. If I could have not had this loss today, instead of making, you know, $300 a day for 2 days, $600, I'd still be up without this loss. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start using the regular amount of shares. I think to finish this month, maybe I'll use just 800, 700, 600, maybe 1,000, but like, the point is that I'm not taking 3,500 shares or 2,000 shares or thinking more about the money. I need to be thinking about discipline and finishing the day green. And also with that, maybe some unwinding and some personality changes, kind of unrelated to trading, like just becoming more healthy in general, not being such I almost spilt it all again. Not becoming less of like an impulsive person, or a less person that is not as emotionally stable. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to get at. That's a whole nother video in itself. Yeah, so let's hope the end of the month goes well and I can figure my shit out and we can have an awesome January, February, April, March. And then hopefully we'll be back to to another 15-day green streak. This is my new thing I have to beat. All right, I'll shut up. You guys have a great day. See you later.